What is going on, guys? It is your boy TKD123 here, back again here on Plays and Swords. This is, of course, Let's Watch The Last of Us HBO episode 5, where we go week by week with our thoughts and review of The Last of Us HBO on an episode by episode basis, ending in a review for season 1 as a whole. Would be, of course, the point in the progress, the point of the progress, the point of all the progresses that you could ever have. Mario Rivera, co-founder of Point in Progress. How you doing, good sir?
I'm doing well. I'm heartbroken. As I talked about earlier, I had expectations for this episode. I was like, maybe they're going to deviate. Maybe they're going to do something different. No.
Oh, interesting. Okay. I'm a little up on this episode. Like I'm
up on the episode, but I'm also like, oh, my heart hurts.
Interesting. Okay, interesting. Oh, okay. Like you're hoping certain things, and oh, okay, right. I mean that I can understand. Yeah. Of course, that. Yeah, but of course, we're gonna get into all that good stuff. But you've been good, Mario. What's up? What's good with you? What's new with you? You know what I'm saying?
We're good. We're recording this early because the show came out early, but also we have Valentine's Day on the day that normally we record. So, getting ready for that and. Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
Indeed. Feels weird. It's like noon. The sun's back there.
That's right.
Usually it's night.
What that is.
Yeah, it's great.
Nighttime.
The soul. SOL. No. Okay. Links down below to Mario's socials. Of course, Mario. Where can people find you if you want to plug anything you've been doing new on the channel and such?
Yes, you can, of course, find me at youtube.com/pointinprogress, where I am there with my 4 other friends as we talk about all the things we love while still thinking critically about them. We are releasing, we made it to year 2. So we did our episode of year 2. You can watch that right now live on our channel. We're also pushing out TikToks from that video that are slowly going out as well. So if you want to see small tidbits of what the podcast is like and how silly and ridiculous we are, there you go. You're going to be able to see it. So that's all I'll plug for now. But yeah, you can also find me at twitter.com.
Beautiful. You know me. Just down there, links below. You know what I'm saying? Twitter, Discord, all that fun stuff. PSVR 2 coverage incoming, coming in hot. You know what I'm saying? I told you next week I'll be out of town. I'll actually be in your city next week.
Yes. Yes, it will be.
My PSVR 2 is going to ship and arrive to this house when I'm not here. It's very upsetting. You know what I'm saying? But it is what it is. And I was showing my dad Kayak VR. Have you seen anything about this game?
No, I've not seen anything about Kayak VR.
It's a very like ultra realistic like kayaking game for the VR. Like it looks insane. It looks crazy. Yeah. And my dad's like, yo, like I'm definitely trying to try that, So I'm excited to get him in the VR unit and see how he feels about it,
I see you both just on the floor, just doing this, just going left and right,
I want to show him that and probably just Gran Turismo. Like I feel like those would probably be the only 2 that he would, have an appeal for overall. Yeah. But
maybe Resident Evil 8, show him the big lady.
Fuck it, why not? 8,
maybe.
You know what?
It's
a good idea. It's a free upgrade. I think it's a free update for VR, I think.
I'm pretty sure. I'm not sure it was day and date, but I know.
I gotta check. I'm also working on the PSVR 2 all info video. That'll be dropping very soon. Just a very thorough, all the games, features, that what you need to know about VR 2 in case you're in the market for buying one. And yeah, that's coming down the pipeline. We got some other stuff coming in the coming months as well. But links down below to Mario's links, as well as the GoFundMe for Annie Wershing, of course, to support her family. She was the original actress for Tess, who passed away a few weeks ago. Definitely go down there if you feel inclined to support the Wershing family in that loss. And
her dedication got added to episode 3.
I did see that. Yeah. I did see it. Very good. Headshot of it. Not of it, of her. Excuse me. Very good. Very good. Not a ton of news. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't have anything formally planned, but we did last minute call out a few things here. NPD just got released. That is the NPD group's monthly charts of game sales. They do a lot more than just game sales, like console sales, all that, whatever. But this is, I believe, specifically only for the United States, right? I'm pretty sure it's only for the United States.
believe so, and physical sales too.
Yeah, and like physical sales, yeah, like it's a whole thing. But The Last was Part One specifically, of course, the PS5 remake that came out last year, late last year in September. In December, it was ranked 36 on the list, and it shot up to 11. You know what I'm saying? So I'd
Yeah.
say that's pretty good. you know, I
In the top 20, near top 10, like that's pretty significant jump.
yeah, and at least I don't think this is like a crazy prediction, right? But we haven't quite got numbers of the ratings for this episode yet because it came out on a Friday to make way for the Super Bowl, as we said last episode. So we're still waiting on those numbers, and we'll cover that next week. But I imagine, as this show is garnering more and more viewers, I'm assuming that the sales will rise and rise. That's just my, of course, like deep analysis of the situation. Of course, like something that I predict. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, given the trajectory of the way that the episodes have been, where just every episode's been increasing. Now, granted, it got its day switched. I don't know how that affects in terms of people watching it, maybe good or bad, or how they report that. But specifically, yeah, I assume that it's going to keep going for the episode ratings. I assume the game as well. The more episodes come out.
Indeed, indeed, love to see it. Love to see it. And this is like we've talked about. Like this is the strategy. This is what we saw this employed. We saw this with Cyberpunk, The Witcher. This is the trend that Sony's trying to hit for sure with future things like God of War and Horizon and stuff like that. GT movies out later this summer as well.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
What's that game called?
Twisted Metal. Yep. I don't know about that one, man.
There's a rumored game coming too. So.
Yeah.
I don't know about that either, man. But hey,
I've just never played it. I've just
you never played it?
Yeah, so I have no touchstone to it. Yeah, I got nothing for that. Other than that, the only other news thing, what was it? Oh, Part 1 on PC got delayed by like a few weeks. Very short delay, something like that. Like it's at max like a month or something like that. Like I forgot the dates, but yeah, that's been delayed. Not a crazy thing to really go off on there. But I say let's get right into it. Endure and Survive. Love the title. Those that are fans of the games already know this title means a lot. But yeah, I mean, just overall, if you have any like encompassing thoughts on this episode as a whole, Mario, before we get into the nitty gritty of it, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, ultimately, this episode is 100% the payoff of the setup that was the first episode that laid the foundation of what this episode proceeds on. Of course, it begins with the flashback to previous times. We get a little bit of sort of an in-between of what Sam and Henry were doing as we were witnessing it through Joel and Ellie's eyes. So this is great because this is something that we just don't get in the video game. We don't get to see it from their perspective and see their relationship. And so the way that they build this episode in a very similar way how they did both Frank and Bill's. They took the time to really envelop the character, made you care for them. And then when the show inevitably met the same end as the video game, I felt the heartbreak even more, I would say, than I would did in the game, which is, I think, a testament to what they're doing and how they're developing the characters from this medium. Definitely very interesting. Also, kind of finally gave a care about this Kathleen character that had been introduced. Again, we don't get a whole lot, but from what we are told and what we are inferring from this character, there's definitely some continuing themes throughout the show that is carrying over, especially once we eventually get to season 2 and 3, possibly of the show, being about hate and stuff like that, revenge.
Yeah. I really like this episode. You hit the nail on the head when last week you were saying, yeah, like this feels like a setup, to a big payoff. This is definitely that payoff. Really interesting choices of like, yeah, because with the cadence of the show so far, right? Like removing the big like action sequences of like Bill's Town and stuff like that, right? In trade for something that offers, I would say, an equal, like a equally good thing as well to The Last of Us, right? I wasn't sure if we would, I just wasn't sure if we would get certain big moments in this episode with this time in the game, but we ended up getting a big one that's like, oh, I did not. I figured that would be on the chopping block, Loki. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But they did it. Yeah, it's cool.
Hold on. Yeah, 100%. When they were walking down that street, and I was like, no, they're
Yeah,
not doing this. Like, I can't believe they're
yeah.
actually doing it. Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay, like there's no way we're gonna do this 1-to-1, but they did, and it was super. It was really cool to see. Very very cool scene. Arguably better
100%.
than the game.
I remember.
Yeah.
Because it's in the game. We're specifically talking about the sniper section.
Yeah,
Which essentially they're being pinned down by a sniper. You have to run behind the building and get inside and take them down. But in between that, there's goons that are also, if I'm not mistaken, like running around, and so that made it not as that's why it makes it more interesting stylistically of the story they were trying to tell with this, because we eventually learned that the sniper's a very like old man. And he's probably can't shoot for shit in the dark. And so they do an interesting thing with the character of Joel. He almost gives the man an out. Like, he actually is just like, hey, we don't have to do this. In the game, it's not like that at all. You fucking murder that guy.
hell yeah. No, you murder everyone. Yeah, straight up.
So yeah,
Crazy. Yeah, definitely really enjoyed that, and we'll break that down more obviously because that's a really big highlight in this episode for sure. I think we got to just right. I don't know if we're gonna get any more cold opens, yo.
No, I think this is it, man. I think we're going in. This is the story.
I guess it is. Yeah, I guess it is. It is.
Well, technically, this is a cold open, right? Because it's a prequel. I don't know.
You're right. Yeah, like
Kinda.
there are certain, like, you know, earlier point scenes in the last few episodes for sure. But yeah, so you know, I guess but it just, I'm trying to see like something from like way back, you know, from like Outbreak Day, but maybe, you know, we're halfway through. I'm sure there's plenty of time to tell more, you know what I'm saying? So I shouldn't really jump the gun on that. But I love this opening to this scene, by the way. Like, on this episode, like, we see the Fedra QZ falling to the hunters, you know, and like falling to the resistance group. And like, this is what we were wanting to see in episode 4, but we got here in episode 5. So it's like, hey, you know what? As long as you watch episode 5 quickly after episode 4, I think you're good. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think you're good. Very fucking violent, bro. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Like, this whole episode's really violent, but for me it was of course there's like lynching and they're killing these Fedra agents like very gruesomely, but the one that got me was the same one that Henry tells Sam to not look at, which is the body being dragged with a bunch of knives in it. I was like, bro. God. Yeah, very, very rough scene. And we get more context to that, you know, with what Sam says later on. I'll jump a little bit ahead because it's relevant, but Joel and Henry have this conversation about Joel's heard that the Kansas City QZ is like very, very bad, and like they're like, it's a rough QZ to be in, you know. And Henry gives context and says, yeah, like, you know, they apologies for a sensitive topic I'm about to bring up, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I don't gotta say it. The R word, y'all know the R word. I just don't want to, like, you know, say that on camera, you know what I'm saying? But you know what I'm saying? That there's murder, there's like there are just a lot of really, really bad stuff going on from the Fedra agents to these people. And like, Henry basically says, you know, hey, when you do that to a certain amount of people for so long, they're gonna snap back. Like it's gonna happen back, you know. And like, that really gives context, I feel like, to the brutality that we see early on in the episode. And it happens a lot during episode 4 and 5. Like, there's a lot of like kind of non-linear storytelling, you know, that happens a lot during these 2 episodes and within the episodes themselves. But yeah, just very, very brutal. Kathleen, how do you feel about the Kathleen and Perry scene where they go into interrogate the what do they call them, the collaborators of Fedra?
Collaborators, right?
Yeah.
Yes. It's definitely infers like how it definitely shows like, okay, this woman definitely has a sense of power, right? So they are the ones that came and took down this regime of whatever Fedra was. They also are very, very scary, but very much in like a librarian kind of way. And I'm like, I'm scared of you, but I'm scared of you from a false authority in a way that I can describe. But yeah, definitely, I'm very curious how they don't go into it much. It really is just, hey, this is just it happened. I'm curious how they were able to plan this whole out, and it seems that a lot of it had to do with also with her brother,
Yeah.
being associated with this. So yeah, I don't know. Ultimately, she is terrifying in the moment, but I feel like it's all just because she is driven by one thing, and that one thing is taking down the world because she lost it. She lost it with her brother.
Right.
And it includes anyone that possibly contributed to it, including all these people. The way that she's so callously is like, you'll go to jail, you'll have some time. Like, very interesting way that like how she's gonna improve in her new world order, if you will. But she's very fixated on the person that obviously sold her brother out, which is Henry.
Yeah, like I really love Kathleen in this episode, and like I feel like I had like some not like reservations like that she was like a bad character in episode 4, but I just feel like I just needed more from her, you know?
More.
Yeah, and they definitely gave us here where it's like, oh, okay, like you're very menacing and like the menacing type that doesn't give the vibe firsts. You know what I'm saying? Like you kind of like have like a nice tone and like a very, soft way of speaking, but what you're saying is really fucked up. Like in terms of like, oh
Yes.
just burn them afterwards. It's quicker. Like when she tells Perry to kill them and like they're not gonna stand on trial like what she said. It's crazy. I love some of her quotes where it's like, Candace is free. KC is free and stuff like that. And like just like her tone on that and her believing that he told because she asked one of them, hey, where is Henry? And then they give it up and like she's like, no, like I know you're telling the truth, you're a rat, so like just like her like blunt mentality is like very, very, very
Absolutely.
cool. Yeah, I really like it. We then jump to Sam and Henry. They make it to the same attic that we see in episode 4 with the food and all that.
Yes.
We get a name for the doctor, Edelstein. That's his name.
Yes.
And we know a little bit more as to why this doctor is helping them later on in the episode, but they're holding out, you know what I'm saying? They got food and everything. And there's not really much here that really go off on, just that, you just get context of where they're at. And like Edelstein gives them the idea of going into the tunnels, I think, or maybe it was Henry, vice versa. But love the private conversation that Henry and Sam have in the attic. That was a very cool one of like Henry telling Sam to draw because this place is ugly and just like, escape in his creative kid nature and stuff like that from this horrible situation.
Yeah, it's a way to distract him. It's a way to distract Sam from this world that's awful. So why not imagine yourself as the hero of your story, all the way up to where he paints the paint on his face.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. I really adored everything they did with it. The ASL addition to the character allows them to be, these two characters to communicate differently than Joel and Ellie. That is specifically the reason why they chose that. And I think they did an excellent job of communicating this relationship of these two characters. They're by themselves. They have nobody. The only person they have is this gentleman, and eventually that goes away, and then they're on their own again. And luckily, in their case, they have Joel and Ellie to be there to possibly get them to where they need to be. But sometimes things just don't go the way that you want them to.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I think they have high intentions in here. Like even like when they were talking about like, oh, the tunnels are fine. Like, well, we learned later that luckily what they were was fine.
Yeah.
Not a second ago. Yeah. No, that's fucking terrifying in there. We'll get there.
Down the street to the right, it's not that sweet over there in the tunnels. You know what I'm saying? I do like, so obviously like a big change here is that Sam is deaf, right? In the game, Sam is not deaf. And like what I really appreciate about them with making Sam deaf is that, of course, Henry is able to talk to Sam via ASL, right? And I just like how in this show, in comparison to a recent show that I watched a few years ago at this point, that being, why am I forgetting? Oh, Hawkeye in
Yes.
On the MCU. I feel like a lot of the camera work there like didn't show off the ASL a lot when they were using it, as opposed to
heavily complain on that show.
Yeah. And like here, I feel like, oh, like it's cool to see the actual ASL movement. Like I know I don't understand ASL, so but like I think it's cool to see it, visually, and they're not afraid to show the full movement and show the full language being spoken. You know what I'm saying? Or
Yeah, the
communicated.
camera.
Yeah.
Exactly. The camera work really illustrates like how they're able to communicate. And if you are someone who understands ASL, you should be able to read that. I need to talk to my other host over at Point in Progress, Sly Clone, who is partially deaf and knows ASL and is a big part of the deaf community. What their thoughts, because I think they actually said that this was something that they were concerned about, and so I definitely want to hear what their perspective is.
For sure.
But ultimately, from watching some of the behind the scenes stuff, they actually had a director for this, CJ Jones, I want to say his name is. But he was also an actor. He's been, I don't know if you saw Baby Driver. He was the father in Baby Driver.
Oh, okay, cool. I love that movie.
Yeah. Yes. Where he took care of Baby and then he took him to the room. He was also a deaf actor. He's the person that helped do these scenes and teach everyone all of this. So definitely having his guidance, and then with the actual actor themselves, as well as being deaf, definitely adds to the authenticity of it, in the same way that I feel like they did for, again, I'm going to bring it back, episode 3. They brought a gay writer, gay editor, a director, Frank, the actor, is gay. Just having that input, that insight into bringing something authentic.
Yeah.
I think that's what made this special.
Definitely.
And heartbreaking, god damn it.
Which stuff? Fuck, they really do it to him.
And I'll bring that up because I bring that up later. There's a detail I learned about the Cory Cooker podcast that we're about to talk about I'm like, oh, that hurt me. So we'll get there.
Okay, definitely. I am going to toss it to you for a little bit. I'm gonna handle. My dogs are crying. I think my parents locked them up. I'm gonna go bring them in this room. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully they're quiet. Run me through this next scene where they open up in the morning, 10 days after, 10-day jump. You know what I'm saying? All that.
Yeah,
I'll be back.
No, absolutely. Obviously, it's both Sam and Henry, confiding in each other, trying to get through this. They are out of food at this point. It's definitely building up the bonds. What I do like, though, is that immediately we then jump to basically catching up to what Joel and Ellie was doing at the same exact time, and seeing it from this different perspective, seeing it from across the street. I definitely find that as something that these characters are mirrors of each other, very much in terms of, the way that we see it through through Henry's eyes is different than what we saw last week, where it was very much a tense, scary situation. But in this time, we see Henry sees Joel. You can actually see Joel killing people on this perspective versus the other time where you couldn't see it, because we were kind of seeing it through Ellie's eyes. It definitely gives a different perspective of who he feels that Joel is, and for him to then risk meeting up with him says a lot, and so that's why I find interesting for that part. So what are your thoughts of the cross section of seeing actually the violence from their perspective versus the other?
That was very cool. I really like that. I hope we get more of it, because like that's in the games a little bit, when we start getting the part 2 and we start to see, a specific new character's perspective on an event that we played. So like I think that was like a really cool way to kind of meld these two and blend these two episodes, because it really does feel like a part 1, part 2 type style. You know what I'm saying? Like of this episode 4 and 5, really liked it. Like that I just think it's really cool that Henry like doesn't seem that necessarily afraid of Joel, but like it's like, oh no, like that's a tool. Like I can use him. You know what I'm saying? Like for mine and most importantly Sam's benefit, you know what I'm saying, of like getting out of here, you know what I'm saying? Absolutely. So yeah, I thought it was really cool. One cool detail too, in the 10 days before, when they're talking to the doctor, he's like, yeah, okay, we have this many pounds of jerky, which is a crazy amount of fucking jerky, I don't even know, and like 11 cans, whatever, and he's like, yeah, like that should make us like 11 days, and they make it 11 days exactly, which I'm like, okay, like that's a cool, I bet like that's a skill that a lot of people have in this world, where it's like, okay, cool, like we have this amount of food, we can ration this amount, and we can get, okay, like that food's about 11 days. And like that's how they read food now, which is very different.
Unlike us.
You know what I'm saying?
Like, I'm going to order Uber Eats, and then maybe, they don't have Uber Eats in the post-apocalyptic.
Hell no. Yeah. Where I'm like, oh, okay, quick delivery, buy one, get one, whatever. No, like here it's like, they see food and it's like, okay, they don't think about cost anymore. They don't think about probably like calorie count. We have Chef Boyardee out the ass. Yeah, they think about it in time intervals, which is very, very cool. I really like that detail. But yeah, so then I think broke it down great where Henry and Sam. Well, Henry's like, hey, we're gonna follow this dude. So I'm assuming through episode 3, they're just trailing Joel and Ellie up until when they get to the building. The glass worked initially, right? Where they did make a little noise there, whatever. And then I really just like this tense scene. You know,
Yeah.
It's pretty clear that, hey, you know, Joel and Ellie are gonna be okay if those that play the game, but like it's still like a
Of course.
very tense situation. Ellie just cracks me the fuck up when
So good.
when
So
she's
good.
like, no, he has an asshole voice, it's fine. Like he means it. Like when Henry's questioning the tone, like, yo, Bella Ramsey's fucking killing it, bro. Fucking killing it. Man. I love it.
Absolutely making the character their own and just absolutely delivering. And oh my god, we'll get to the relationship with Sam later, but
Bro, it's a lot.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's a lot. But this scene specifically, I just love how Pedro Pascal plays it. He has that, that asshole tone and he carries it on. And then, he definitely knows. I think he has a feeling that they're not gonna hurt them.
Right.
Because man, I find it weird that the kid was put in front of the adult, because I don't know, it seems more dangerous than anything.
Right?
But whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, okay, that's a choice. But
Yeah, because
I
you
get
think Henry would want to be on Joel, and then Sam would be on Ellie, but
Yeah, but I guess to persuade Joel, you got to put a big risk. And presumably at that point, Henry thought that was his daughter. So I can kind of see how that would make sense. I'm saying, but still, like, I was like, okay, interesting. Cause like, you've seen that Joel's capable of killing. So it's like, you want to put, I feel like the biggest bodyguard on him, but like, I kind of get it from like a persuasion tactic. Joel and Ellie, Joel mainly, and probably Ellie too, whatever, sharing their food with Sam and Henry, to me, just like was a little bit of a callback to Tess, asking Joel to save who you can save in a way. And like, I just feel like it's a way of like, hey, like if there is no threat and you can extend a helping hand, do that, so
Yeah.
I thought that was cool. Then we flash a little bit forward after their dinner to, hey, Henry's like, yo, you're probably up here to scope out a way out. I know a way out. Let's work together. I that. Joel calls it Kill a City. Not sure if that is like a term that people use now
yeah,
as like, like Big Apple, right? Melting pot, whatever, right? Like is like Kill a City like a Kansas City, like pseudo name. I just wanted to note that. But this is where, Joel says that, hey, he's heard the Casey QZ is crazy,
yeah,
and that's a real like nickname.
Yeah, Urban Dictionary. Well, the funny thing is though,
It's
this says 2005, so only give me a second.
Hey, wait a minute.
Kill a Silly, a nickname given to Kansas City, Mo for having dangerous streets. But this was written by somebody in 2005, so maybe it does precede it.
Okay.
To be fair.
Okay.
But still, I was just like, oh, okay. But that was on Urban Dictionary, so yeah, it's apparently known as Kill a Silly.
This is where we got Neil. Remember when people almost got Neil for the song?
I know.
Future Days and timing on that. I'm gonna ask him this and be like, sir, a couple questions for you. A couple questions. But yeah, well, specifically, Joel says that Kansas City Fedra is crazy. Also, why is my dog barking, yo? I swear.
That's fine.
I swear.
He's adding texture to the background.
Can you can hear him, right? I think.
A little bit.
A little
Not
bit.
Too much.
A little bit. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I might have to go over there and address that. We'll see.
fine.
We'll see. Yeah. So crazy stuff. Whatever. Henry. Henry reveals that he's a collaborator and that he never killed anyone, which ends up being a lie later on. But we'll get to that. So he makes a deal. Long as Joel can clear the way, Henry will show them the way. Which I think, okay, seems like a fair balance trade and all that. Love that Henry calls out that he hasn't heard Sam laugh in a long time, which is also from the game as well. Just a little quick moment there. Then Sam and Henry reveal that they'll be going into the tunnels, which is analogous to the sewers in the game. So
I think that was a smart change. As much as I love the whole action set piece that you get that leads you into the water, it does it's a lot to probably do on the show for them to do that. But the fact that we get still a sort of underground tribe, if you will, and it
Yes.
being tied still to Ish is
Yes.
pretty wild. Which
Oh
adds
man.
to the heartbreak, even more to the heartbreak of the end of the episode, with the new infected that we saw. Did you see that?
The kid
The
the kid
kid.
clicker? Yeah.
Yeah, because we have not seen that before. That is fucking terrifying.
Yeah, that was yeah,
Yeah.
that was fucked up. Yeah. I thought the same thing. I'm like, "Oh, okay, so like that kid came from the tunnels, you know." For,
Yes.
for sure. But a little bit more info about the tunnels that like Henry reveals, which I think is really cool, is that like he claims that Fedra led all the infected into the tunnels 15 years ago. So it's interesting that like in this world, right? In this collapsed United States, right? When you take a city that doesn't have to deal with infected anymore, like the Boston QZ, how they were, still getting infected and killing them and burning them and all that, and like they were still dealing with their infected, right? But when you get Kansas City, where their Fedra is super militant, super ruthless, however you want to say, right? And they were able to deal with the infected. I just think it was really cool that there's still chaos, but it's just human chaos.
Yeah.
It's murder. It's whatever, all the things that they described it as. And like I thought that was a really cool, like, like okay, like that those were their problems in KC. It wasn't really
Yes.
infected for a long time. I mean, they only dealt with infected for 5 years since Outbreak Day, and then since that's basically what he says, which is really cool.
Which, well, if you think of it this way as well, though, is that they kept that at bay for 15 years. So they have at least monitored that situation. But once Fedra fell, what happened?
You're right. You're absolutely right.
So, yeah.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. And then he claims that, everyone thinks that they're still infected down there, which as a viewer, we're like, no, I mean, we definitely remember the ground moving with Perry and Kathleen. So now we know the full.
That.
Yeah. So and then now we know the full ramifications of that. But Henry says that he heard that they cleared it out 3 years ago and that there's nothing down there. And somehow only a few people know that, which I don't know if he was lying there to try and get Joel and Ellie to
try it,
to try and do this still. I feel like that's plausible, that like maybe like he was lying, but who knows? But also maybe not, because
it ends up being true.
But do you? Sorry, go ahead.
No good.
But like, you remember last episode when Kathleen and Perry were definitely like, "Yo, we'll deal with this later. Like, let's just keep it down low."
Well, we don't know where that is. Well, we know where that is. That's
in the city.
Is that underneath the building that they were hiding in?
Shit, was it? Oh wait,
because it's
you're
very
right.
close after the scene. They check the
yeah, no, you're right. You're right. Yeah.
Even if it's not the same building, it's in a place nearby.
Right.
And so they are technically not in this area, which is how they get through their escape. But then once all the noise happens, which is literally all the gunfire and all that shit, with the sniper rifle as well, everything is being led and brought there. I mean, that's the whole reason why Fedra was brought there, because of the radio, but still the gun stuff could also be leading them there as well. And the trucks all heading in one direction. I'm wondering if the things underground are being swayed by the traffic that's happening on above.
Maybe, yeah.
And that's possibly how it worked. I mean, I'm making that up out of my ass, but at the same time, it's the most plausible thing that I could think of.
Right.
Maybe we know they travel by sound.
Yeah, sound, and like I know there's the roots thing too, and I thought, since that truck ran into that house, but also went down underground a little bit, right? I thought maybe they disturbed some roots. I mean, there's like a lot of things, but yeah, like you're right, like very cool. I just thought that was really cool.
Very
how
interesting.
Once again, I'm a maniac. I'm taking crazy notes and trying to make a full timeline of this, and like okay, like this time 15 years ago, whatever. So they decide to go in. Cool that Henry's shocked that they encountered the clicker and survived. That's like, oh no, like y'all are mad capable. Like, you serious? Like, that just shows like how big of a threat they are in this world, of course. Ellie has a big ass smirk on her face when Joel tells her to pull out her gun, which I'm like, I just like that too. I'm like, bro, this shit's crazy.
God, she's like all of us.
Yeah.
Goofy as
It's
hell.
like, okay, I'm down. Tunnels, once again, are very similar to the sewers in the game. We learn this little colony where there's like beautiful crayon drawings on the wall and everything from the kids and everything, just like in the game. And Joel says, quote, I heard about these places. I heard about places like this. People went underground after Outbreak Day, built settlements. Ellie goes, what happened to them? And then Joel says, maybe they didn't follow the rules and they all got infected, which these are the same rules as the sewers in the game where it's, make sure your doors are locked, make sure the password, if there's a visitor, all that, like all those same rules are in the sewers as well. Really, really like that detail. And you brought it up earlier. We're seeing it right here on screen. The Ish draw. I fucking love Ish. I fucking love it, bro. Fucking love it. Love it. We get back to back because we get Ish and then we get the Savage Starlight comic. It's like, oh, bro,
Yes,
too
we
much.
do.
It's too much. It's too much, bro.
I was like, why is this show so perfect?
I was like, God damn it. You give me the 1-2 shot. It was crazy. I wrote this down. Not sure if this will have any big significance, but Ellie has issues 4, 5, 6, and 11 of Savage Starlight. Sam has 1, 5, 6, and 8. So they're still missing 2, 3, 7, 9, 10, 12, 13, and 14. If we're going by the games, at least in the first game, like I'm a Savage comic. So I thought that was cool. How much you love them reciting the lines in the comic, to the edge of the universe and back, endure and survive. Ugh, bro, so fucking cool.
It's adorable, and I love it's sort of Sam teaching her the ASL version of
Yeah.
Survive and Endure, which is so sweet. And we can talk about the relationship here, just them hanging out and having fun and having someone not necessarily her age, but someone that could look up to her, in a way, which I thought was really wonderful. This whole section of them just being kids and Joel and Henry being adults, being fathers figures, definitely found that to be a fun thing because that's something you wouldn't see in the show. And the show has proven us wrong twice of like, Frank and Bill having like a little tea party outside their house,
Yeah.
in the middle of a pandemic. So to see two guys sitting on the field, while their kids are playing, they definitely subvert those expectations. And the conversations that they have here are important, and it reveals a lot about Henry's character, specifically who he believes he's in.
Yeah.
I do find that fascinating too.
Very, very, very important. And we can go right into that, what I'm saying? Because Joel didn't say sorry, but apologizes for calling him a rat, and says that, hey, like, you have to look after Sam. Like, I should have taken that into account. That doesn't mean like, you're a horrible person and all that, And then Henry goes into, I won't read the full quote. I wrote it down. I won't read it. But like, he essentially says that he was a collaborator, right? And Sam got sick with leukemia. And the only people that had the medicine was Fedra. So he gave Fedra a big get in exchange for that medicine to cure Sam, which was the leader of the resistance group, Kathleen's brother, right? And he goes on about how like he looked up to Kathleen's brother and like really enjoyed him and like he was a great guy, and like we get more of that as well in the next scene too. But his name that we learn later on is Michael, but like he was apparently like a really good person. And why I like this quote, and like you read the same thing as me, where Henry labels himself as a bad guy, right? And like he doesn't blame Kathleen for going at them so hard, right? Because Joel's like, man, like it seems kind of cruel to do all this just to get to you, you know what I'm saying? But like, it's really interesting, and like I think this is going to be very, very important for Joel to hear. And it's like a meta thing for the audience too, because we will have, mark my words, if you guys have not played Last of Us, we will have a very similar struggle of conversation at the end of this series about certain actions that Joel takes in the hospital. I'll leave it at that, right? But this is a long discussed type of conversation that people that have played the game have had, where is Joel a bad person at the end of the game? In terms of the way Henry sees his actions, where it's like, I did bad things, so I'm a bad person. versus the other side of that debate where it's like, do the ends justify the means of that? And is there any end that can have the ability to override the means that you took to get to that end? And does that still make you a bad person or not? You know, so very, very cool right there. Love that. Also, side thing too, Henry still has a betrayal in the show. It's just with a different person. That I thought was cool. I'm like, okay, cool. Like that was neat. Because in the game, it's Joel that he directly betrays in a way.
Yeah.
Which for the same reason too, for the safety of Sam.
Hey.
You know?
Love.
Yeah. Yeah, for love. Yeah. If you don't got anything on that, I know I spoke a lot there, but if you got anything, you know.
No, you said it absolutely excellent. I think we nailed it right on the head.
Yeah. We go to this scene with Kathleen in their childhood bedroom, and there's a conversation with Perry where we get a little bit more of the context of how good of a guy Michael was, her brother, and the ex-leader of the resistance and all that. I don't know. This one, it felt a little bit redundant to me, but like it was cool to get more screen time with Kathleen and like get a little bit more background about how, you know, she felt very protected with her brother, right, and all that, and like them growing up, and they grew up here in Kansas City, and that she has like a bit more of like an unforgiving type of personality towards things that happen to her, you know. But if you got anything major to say about this scene, definitely let me know. But
I think this is the scene that very much humanizes the character in a lot of ways, that you can start to see it from her perspective, even if, you know, you don't necessarily enjoy and respect what she wants to do. But you can at least, I think, see it as to why she's motivated by it. And I think that's what this scene's pretty much for. It builds the character up as much as we've seen them as this sort of ruthless, you know, PTA mom. It is nice to see her as just a human being and how she's suffering. But how that suffering manifests and how it leads to more suffering, I think that's definitely something that is showcased here. And you know, it gave me more time with Perry as well, who, you know, he's just you know, he doesn't get to do a lot. That beard is doing a lot of the talking.
Yes,
you know
it
what I'm
is.
saying?
Yes, it is.
100%. As I've been hearing a lot of fan cams of just Perry over the last couple of weeks.
No, Perry's the shot. I fucking love Perry. Shot there.
I love Perry, man. I feel bad that he dies the way that he does, because
I have a side thing to say about that. That we'll get to. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. But I ultimately think that this is a humanizing scene, but it's also ends on a sour note, as she is very, very scary still.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. I like how, you know, Perry on that end bit that you were talking about, you know, says like, hey, like, you know, Michael was great. We all loved him, right?
Yeah.
But we haven't made as much progress with him as much as you have with leading, you know. So we're behind you. We're with you. We brought down the QZ because of you at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? But also, I want to take a see, because this episode birthed a big theory that I have to keep looking into. I have to do some research on, because I think I found some pieces that could fit together, you know. We'll see. There's a random call out to Kathleen's mom. And that Kathleen's mom told Perry that she was here. Thought that was a kind of just random call out, you know.
We don't see her.
We don't get anything other than that. I just want to keep that in everyone's mind, that Kathleen's mom is alive. The mother of the two resistance groups, right? Or I mean, sorry, the mother of the two leaders of the resistance group I met. And you know, just want to keep that out there, because that was kind of interesting. You know what I'm saying? Joel. Then we cut to the main kind of end of this whole section, besides the tragedy that we'll get to later on. But Joel, Henry, Sam, and Ellie are walking in the neighborhood, whatever. Just quick thing to note, where Joel doesn't like that Ellie called out Wyoming that they're headed to. You know what I'm saying? Initially, which I get. Mistrust. Don't give out all the info, whatever. How much did you love Ellie picking on Joel for being a bit of a pushover? Big pushover.
100%, because it just shows the growth of their characters together, and I love that's a thing. Um,
Ellie mocked him and it's like, oh, I just asked a million times. Eventually, it's so funny. It's good. Then we get the sniper shot right from the game. Not much here. Joel does honestly the exact same route I took in the game where I went to the left. You know what I'm saying?
I went to the left too. He does exactly what I did.
There is a right way, but the right route's kind of hard to do. You know what I'm saying? So go to the left. You know what I'm saying? He did get there a lot easier in the show than in the game. You know what I'm saying? It definitely took me a little bit. So I was like, okay, that's interesting. As you said, there's an old man sniper lookout. He's one of Kathleen's men. He has a radio that he was talking over and all that. And you're right, how like Joel really tried to get him to be like, listen, bro, all you gotta do is just give me the gun and just sit here for 10 minutes. That's it.
And then he went up good.
And then he definitely wasn't about it. You know what I'm saying? Then Kathleen's crew comes into the area. Go ahead. Yeah. Go ahead.
For you that one of the things, because the Corey Cooker podcast.
Oh yeah, please.
Mentioned in this scene specifically that this old man, has only spent the last 20 years in this world. He's existed previous to this a very long time, right? So he's gotten to see where his whole life has been. But within the last 20, it's gone to shit. Absolute garbage. He's lost everything. And he's had to live with that for, not that long. So yeah, I just thought it was interesting that just old man just being able to be there as opposed to just another bad guy.
Right.
The fact that, this is how he's going to have to put him down, and that he's had this whole long life. So, I don't know. That was interesting.
That's a good note. Yeah. I didn't consider that, hey, like he's lived a life very much before the outbreak and after. Yeah, you're right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very just tired.
He's like, fuck it, bro. You know what, man? It is what it is. The Kathleen's crew start to come in. Joel has a fucking great shot at the driver, taking him out. You know what I'm saying? Which then causes that
Mando right there. It's Mando.
Hell, he was there. He was with it. He was definitely on that. The truck that the driver was driving, the one that Joel shot at, goes into the house. Massive explosion, which that will have crazy ramifications for later on. You know what I'm saying? And then Kathleen, is making a speech trying to lure out Sam, right? And what I think is really, she says some fucked up shit here.
Fucked up shit.
She literally tells him like, did you ever consider that, I don't know, maybe Sam was supposed to die of leukemia, right?
Yeah.
And like, this is what happens when you fuck with fate, Which I want to also, again, this is the second part of my theory. Mario, can you walk me down this road? Okay.
Okay.
I might sound crazy, but I just have some pieces I want to see if there's something putting together here. Okay. We get the drop that Kathleen's mom exists and is alive.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
We also get this wording of Kathleen talking about fate, about this is what happens when you tempt fate. Like, and it just feels a little bit, at least to me, right, of my Catholic upbringing, right, it feels a little bit of like a biblical fashion,
Yes.
Considering that we're in the Midwest, maybe that's a little bit more of a popular thing in the Middle West. You know what I'm saying? I know that's a little loose, but just I'm just seeing some blurred lines here. I'm just seeing.
Are you saying her name's Maria?
I'm also. I'm not quite saying that, right? Okay. But what I am saying is that Craig Mazin and Neil Druckmann have specifically talked about bringing certain things that were lightly in the game explored more in season 2. One of those being the Seraphite prophet. You see what I'm saying?
Okay. Yes, I do.
Could it be possible that Kathleen's mom is the Seraphite prophet? Or becomes the Seraphite prophet?
I mean, man, that's
a lot of jumps and a lot of hoops. I'll admit, but I'm gonna keep track on this. I don't know.
Keep keep an eye on it. The fact that they mention a mother exists and then we don't see them, I do find that interesting. At the same time, I'm not too keen on my part two lore of like how long that has been going on for and how that gets developed because that's like a whole ass society. So
Yes.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I would have to look into that for sure.
Look into it.
Yeah. But you know,
Skeptical, but I'm not gonna say no.
I just thought it was
You know.
interesting. I just thought it was all kind of. I know that's a lot of hoops I jump, but you know, just
No, the
I don't know.
fire symbolic here. You know, I can see it.
And I could see it mimic like the Seraphites being antagonistic against Ellie
Sure.
if the mom knew that Ellie was the same reason as to why her daughter eventually dies. You know, because like it's a little loose. I'll admit,
A little loose,
a
you
little
know,
loose, a
we'll
little
take-
loose, a little
we'll-
loose.
we'll-
You know,
We'll bake on it. You know, we'll let
I'm
it
gonna
cook.
follow it. Trust me, I'm gonna follow it.
Yeah.
Then we get the crazy scene. Ton of infected start pouring out from this underground area in the house. Fucking wild, like insane scene.
Wild.
Like it's a
Just
lot.
not expecting it. Not expecting it whatsoever.
And Joel is doing the same thing as that we were doing in the game, providing sniper fire. Because in the game, it's just like the noise of the shooting lures a lot of infected to that area. You know,
Yes.
from the city of Pittsburgh. You know what I'm saying? So you still get a similar effect in the game, but like I feel like it's a lot more dramatic in the show. I think it's way cooler in the show. Like this is fucking
It's the
lit.
biggest we've ever seen a group of clickers even in either game.
Yeah.
Game or this. So like, yeah, this is the way they pour out of that thing, and it's super quick. It is terrifying.
Out of
And
nowhere.
it's a good blend of like real people and also CGI creatures, all just sort of coming out of that hole. And yeah, it's oh my god! Like I'm looking at it right now.
It's-
How fast they run and get trampled over each other.
Yeah.
Absolutely insane.
It's fucking terrifying. Like, and you see people getting killed left and right, like shit's insane. You know what I'm saying? Joel's out there providing cover fire for Henry, Sam, and Ellie and stuff like that. Very violent. You know what I'm saying? And then we gotta just jump a little bit ahead, man. We got the bloater. We got the bloater.
We did it, and not only did we get it, he did his finishing move.
He did his finishing move. So what I want to say about Perry, right? So first and foremost, RIP to the homie Perry. I'm gonna miss that character. Fucking awesome.
Miss his beard.
Jeffrey Pierce, I think his name. Pierce.
Jeffrey Pierce.
Jeffrey Pierce, a fucking king, goated from
100%.
here on out. I feel like either it was him that said, listen, I will be involved, right? But I need to be killed by a bloater. You know what I'm saying? Either that happened or he was nonetheless excited as fuck when he heard that he was going to get decapitated by a bloater. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think one of those two realities are true, but like, I could just see him just being like so over the moon, like, hell yeah, dude. Like, I get to die from a bloater. Like, let's go. Like, on screen, like, yo, let's go.
He's played Iron Man Tommy for 2 games, and you can't kill that man. So he was like, "No, you need to kill me in this one."
Shit's hype, dude.
It's hype, dude. Oh my god, looking
Love
at
it.
this, like the combination of the real shots with the digital shots, like it looks absolutely unhinged. And yeah, that's Lord.
I was reading that they had like a 6'6" dude in that suit.
Yes, he did.
The suit was like what, 40 pounds, I think, something crazy like that.
Lord.
Pretty heavy, yeah, pretty heavy. But like he like did say, I think I read that like he said that inside was definitely soft. Like it wasn't like uncomfortable, but it was just heavy, you know.
Yes. Yes.
Very cool. You called it out earlier. We got the kid clicker. This shit's fucked up, bro.
Oh my god. Oh, we're looking at it right now as we're talking about it, and it is unsettling as hell. That whole face thing is CGI, but the fact that that kid is a contortionist and can just make those movements in just the most scariest of ways, especially when we see them later. Yeah, no, absolutely just bone chilling here. This is okay. The section here where Sam and Henry are under the car, that's when I knew we were getting the real ending. And
Okay.
then my heart broke because I was like,
man.
oh, they're gonna do it.
Yeah.
There's no way they don't do it because it just makes total sense from that point of view. But yeah, no, absolutely devastating. But yeah, Oh shit, that was cool.
Yeah, it's crazy shit. No, there's like, there's cars running over these infected. Like, it's a crazy scene. I know that this happens in the game where we are protecting Ellie from the infected and everything. I just thought it was cool because I'm trying to think. Yeah, because earlier in the game, we get the sniper scene where Ellie is covering Joel, you know?
Yes.
We don't quite get that yet, but at least cool that we at least have Joel doing the same thing in the game, whatever. Kathleen gets annihilated by this kid clicker.
Just annihilated.
Dude, the kid's beating on her. Yo, it's violent. It reminded me of like how we're taught in Arizona here in the desert, you know, if you have an adult scorpion, right? That's really not a big deal as long as you see it, avoid it, like, you know, it's not crazy dangerous because the scorpion knows that, hey, once I unleash my venom, like I'm also gonna perish. I think it's how it works. I don't know. Something like that. But it's very dangerous to encounter a baby scorpion because they just pour all the venom out and it's way more dangerous. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
similar here with the kid infected, you know, just the kid infected just like fucking pummeled her, you know, which was a lot.
Yeah.
And then we get, you know, and then we get the scene. You know what I'm saying? How we want to tackle this?
We'll do the kids first, then we'll do the aftermath of the kids. Or we'll talk about the scene actually right now, which is Henry and Joel are sort of debriefing after everything that's happened. It looks like they're going to be joining on the journey together. We're looking at what a bright future would have looked like if they decided to go that route. We then transition, I would say, to the kids.
Yeah.
Which is a deviation from the story as well.
I like how they pick on the quote "endure and survive." They're like, yeah, like it's a little bit redundant, you know. They're like, yeah, kind of stupid, you know. But you're right. Just like in the game, you know, Joel invites them to Wyoming. I like how, I mean, it's sad as fuck, but Henry goes, all right, tomorrow I'll tell Sam, new day, new start, and it's like, yeah. We get the scene back and forth. Extremely heartbreaking, you know. Sam asks Ellie, "Are you ever scared?" Ellie says, "Do I not look scared?" Sam goes, "Never." And then Ellie goes, "I'm scared all the time of scorpions," as a joke, you know. But then she goes on to say, "I'm scared of ending up alone," which is exactly like in the game. Which I'm like, fuck. No, Ellie, no, Ellie, no, don't say it, Ellie.
Don't say it. Don't say it.
I was like, fuck, man. God damn it.
This show is gonna rip our goddamn hearts out.
Ellie asks, "What about you?" And then Sam asks, "If you turn into a monster, is it still you inside?" Equally as fucked, man. God damn it. And then we have a big departure in the game, like what you said. Sam initially reveals the bite mark to Ellie, which in the game he doesn't do, but I think that makes a lot more sense here. You know, considering how close they got, and like even in the game, right? Like you would think if you took a little bit of thought to it, like, like it does feel kind of weird that Sam just they're both kids, you know. Like I feel like that they wouldn't understand like the reasons fully not to display that bite mark. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like they would anyway. Ellie does it back. How do you feel about the scene where Ellie uses or tries to use her blood as medicine?
It adds to the creators that this is a kid. Like this is someone that doesn't understand how these things work and how they think that they are, you know, they are super important to this world, as we assume that they are to be. So when they go to cut their hand and assuming that they're going to be the medicine that saves Sam, it's just additional heartbreak, which adds to the very end of the episode, which we'll get there when we get there. But it definitely adds to the credence of like, no, this is just childhood naivete, just being a kid thinking that they could control their destiny, and really they can't.
Yeah.
Their destiny takes over. The scene, this is the Corey, I keep calling the Corey Booker, the Troy Baker podcast. I'll drop it for that section. There's something that Troy says in the podcast that he actually starts like you can hear his voice crack when he says it is there's a scene where Sam is sitting at the window. The sun is on him,
Right.
and Ellie wakes up. She calls out to Sam. Sam does not hear her because he can't hear her. Sam is deaf.
Oh, I totally forgot. That's right.
And so when Ellie goes to grab
I
him,
totally forgot about that. You're absolutely right. Sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
no, of course, when Ellie goes to grab him, then he attacks, right? Um, that's the part of him that is Sam is still there. Sam is still in there in some capacity, and that has nothing to do with like this infection taking over his body, and now all of a sudden can hear again. It's no, there's a piece of Sam still there, and then sort of Craig and Neil sort of like address that of like, yeah, there's still a part of you kind of behind this thing, and that's to me was chilling. That there's still a little piece of Sam inside the monster,
Right.
and it's terrifying. But yeah,
That's fucked up. Dude, I totally didn't even notice that. I didn't notice
Yeah.
that Ellie calls out to Sam. Yeah, no, you're so right. Fuck, I totally didn't even realize that.
yeah,
Yeah, then, Sam attacks Ellie,
yeah.
in the scene, and I fucking think this scene is so fucked, bro. Like,
Yeah.
yo, I don't know the name of his actor's name. I wish I knew, but
Trayvon Woodard.
yo,
I had it earlier.
incredible performance. Like throughout the whole episode, but yo, like the so much words are spoken through his face and his facial mannerisms and the way he just says things like, "What did I do? What did I do?"
Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, which like in the game, Sam blames Joel and like says that this is all your fault, right? Which I think this is much more like real in a way, you know, of like, yeah. And then we get the suicide. Bella Ramsey, fuck, man.
Yeah, it just sits on her face for so long.
It's something about Bella Ramsey and her crying just fucks me up, bro. Like, it's like, she's a good crier. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's so fucked, man. It's so sad.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is pretty much 1-to-1 in the game. But we do get this new scene here that's not it in the game. It is talked about.
Alluded to.
Yeah. It is talked about in the game, but they're burying Henry and Sam, and I believe the jacket and the backpack. Is that the same backpack that Joel had, or was that Sam's backpack and jacket?
That's a good question.
Yeah, I would have to go back and look, but I'm pretty sure. I think the jacket and the backpack that Ellie drops.
She's wearing the jacket here, so I assume.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
no,
okay.
She's had the jacket for a second. Yeah, no, it's not the same.
Okay, cool. Ellie just doesn't want anything to do with more than just bury them and just keep going. She just says which way's west. She already starts walking like she's just really hurt and distraught by it. But you said you wanted to note something about the very end of this episode. Is it this notepad?
It was the Sam thing. It was the Sam thing.
Oh,
but
God. Okay.
But the notepad is on top of that. The fact that it's her saying she's sorry, as in she feels like she failed.
Right? Yeah.
Not understanding this. So I'm wondering that later on when we get to, the actual ending of the show and how we're gonna rectify of like, yes, there's a possibility. Like the possibility is enough for her to be like, yeah, do whichever you have to do. Even if it was given her the choice of living or not living. We'll see about that. But yeah, I'm curious.
Yeah, I think there will be some sort of tether to this moment where she thought that because she's immune that her blood would be medicine, and like it's not, right? And like it could just be like a hey, that's not how, which it's not, right? Like that's not how like medicine works, right? Like
no,
but I just think it was really cool because like I bet like in this moment and like I think you hit it too, where it's like, does Ellie feels guilt for not being able to help Sam, I bet, you know. I also wonder if she's apologizing for not staying up with him because she promised that she would stay awake, and then we cut to the morning and she's asleep in the chair. I thought maybe something like that, maybe like a mix of a lot of things, but like it's yeah, it's sad. It's very, very, very devastating.
It's very sad.
And then the episode ends. Yeah, pretty
That's
fun.
The Last of Us.
That is what are we? Some kind of Last of Us? What are we? But then seems episode 6 we're gonna head over to Tommy's into Wyoming, see that. Very cool. Yeah, I guess we'll go from there. We're over the halfway point in the show. How you feeling? How you feeling overall?
Overall, I'm in a great place. I feel like they're nailing all the aspects of the show. I'm very curious how the last 4 is going to do and how these shows are going to tie up. I assume that yes, it's going to be a little bit of the Wyoming stuff, with maybe possibly ending on, if I have to guess, I'm gonna have to guess it's gonna be Joel getting hurt.
Yeah.
If I'd assume, like in the university.
Yeah.
Then ties into a little bit of the winter stuff mixed in with Left Behind, and then the final episodes are wrapping up the show.
Yeah.
That's what I'm assuming.
So we got 4 more, right? I think you're right. I think we're gonna go 50-50. I think we're gonna go half and half Wyoming, and then the other half is the university scene where we end on Joel being injured.
Yes.
Next episode is Left Behind and early winter, introducing that threat and introducing David. After that, we get the conclusion of winter and the fallout and all that happens there. And then we get to the finale, I feel like, where it's going to be pretty much from Salt Lake City in the game all the way to the lie.
Are we gonna get giraffes?
We fucking bro. No, I don't even want to say we're not because they know.
They know.
Yeah. No, they know. They have to know. Dude, if they don't know, bro. Nah, they gotta know, right? Come on, Neil.
Nah, they gotta know.
Come on, Gustavo, get on them screens, bro. Come on, man. Come on, man. So fucking good. Mario, until next time, where can people find you?
Of course, you can find me over at Point in Progress, where we do all the things we love and talk about them. We are doing right now MC University. We're on episode Deadpool 2. So we're moving on with that. Of course, you can also check out the Point in Progress podcast, all our TikTok content. You can follow me at twitter.com/that Mario Rivera while Twitter still exists.
It's been wonky for me, bro. Remember when we couldn't tweet during the direct? That was crazy.
That was wild.
That was crazy.
Yeah.
One time I logged in, 0 followers, 0 following. And I closed and refreshed, and it was like that for like a cool 10 times. I was like, well, okay.
That happened to me when I got banned. And I was freaked out. Why did it say 0? So.
I was like, huh. I guess this is it. But no, then they all came back. I'm like, all right. Funny joke. Funny joke.
Just figuring that out over there on Twitter.
It is what it is. It is what it is. And of course, this has been episode 5 of Let's Watch Last of Us HBO. Halfway through the season, we're going to go over the other week by weeks and episode by episode basis of season 1, leading in a full review of season 1 of The Last of Us HBO. Down below, find links to our Discord, our Twitter, and of course our Anchor link that you can listen to our long-form content, including this podcast, on podcast services of your choosing. They go live at the same time as YouTube as well, so no worry about that. And down below, make sure you don't forget Mario's links and Annie Wershing's GoFundMe if you feel inclined to give to that family. And yeah, that's about it. I'll see you next week. We're gonna meet Tommy. Haven't seen him in a while. Very excited.
Yeah.
Maria as well. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Very excited. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
And yeah, thank you all for watching. And as always, greatness awaits.
Greatness awaits.